Baby, please don't go.
When that go live button comes along, you must push it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Laser Source Podcast, the number one podcast. If you like to engrave on the go, Jason Reif is back again. We can't get rid of this guy. He messaged me yesterday, the day before, and he's like, "Hey, are we still going to talk about the trailer and all my dope mobile engraving and travel experiences?" I was like, "Yeah, we could travel blog for a day." So Jason's back. What's up, Jason?
What's going on, everybody? Hey,
And Kyle's here, sporting a very fancy new haircut. Look at you, sir. You looking fresh.
Is that
Looking fine.
And, I need to get that done here soon.
Yeah.
I got the profile going there.
And Matt's here too. Hi, Matt.
Hello. I got nothing. I get nothing with disrespect. It's okay.
Yeah. So I guess this is take two or part two of last week then.
Chat is popping off. Yeah, this
talk about it
too. What's up, everybody? Look at chat right now. This is nuts. I see Bronson. I see Anthony. Vince is here. We got a special shout out for Vince later. We will cover that. And Laura. There's Laura. Usual crew, guys. Yeah, while we're at it, special shout out to Johnson Plastics Plus, the sponsor of the Laser Source podcast. I'm still working on my Johnson Plastics Plus testing videos. I kind of got interrupted this week. I guess we'll just go ahead and show that now. So if you haven't been, guys, lasereverything.net, as usual, you know I can't leave it alone. I can never seem to stop touching it. It got another overhaul. The point of this one, guys, was to simplify. I want to make everything really easy to find. Also, we had a couple things coming up, a couple big bills that I didn't really feel like paying. One of them was our podcast hosting. We spent like $2,300 last year on podcast hosting. I didn't want to do that anymore, so we self-host the podcast now. If you come to lasereverything.net and you click the podcast button, there's our self-hosted podcast. You can listen to any episode you want. It's organized by season. It's super easy to navigate here. You can actually leave comments on the episodes as if you were going to, like watch a YouTube video or something. So that's pretty neat too. It's not showing up at the moment, but it's usually here. Comments. There's links to all of the services that we're hosted on, and it's hosted on even more. So you can check that out. That's the first thing. This was a really big deal, getting this set up. And let's see, what else? We also reorganized kind of like our database setup. So you've probably noticed, if you've ever used our community libraries, that the community libraries were still hosted on our really, really old WordPress pages. And that's because they relied on WordPress plugins that wouldn't work outside of the WordPress environment, long after we had dropped WordPress as a platform for our general website. So taking those libraries and localizing them so we could host them on our own server with custom database software is something I've wanted to do for a really long time, but haven't been able to do on my own until Vince, shout out Vince, in chat, guys. Vince wrote this software for us to be able to house these settings. So now everything is self-hosted. They're all on our own server. We're not relying on any third-party plugins or anything. And we can go ahead and click View Settings here. And there's the fiber laser library. It's super easy to read and find what you're looking for. You can see exactly what source the uploader used, exactly what lens they used. And if you guys haven't been here, like seriously, you should come check this out. These are all settings by members of the community, uploaded for you to try out. And it's really easy to see if your system is going to match. So you'll know ahead of time whether or not it's going to work right off the bat, or whether or not it's going to require a little bit of tweaking in order to get just right. There's photos, so you can load up these high-res photos and see exactly how the setting is going to work out before you attempt to use it. It's just really, really powerful. I'd love to see more people use it, especially now that we're self-hosting it. It's a really big deal. And of course, there is an option for any of these libraries, guys. If we come back here, you do have the option to submit a setting as well. So if you want to submit one, if you want to share something that's working really well for you with the rest of the community, you can click submit settings here, and it'll take you through this multi-step process here. It's super easy. We have options for fill 1 and fill 2 now, which is something we didn't have on the old library, as well as line or raster settings if that's the kind of stuff you're uploading. A notes section. It's super easy to fill out this form. You just drop your make, your model in, give us a little detail about your machine so people with the same machine can find you. And then you drop your settings in and you go. It's very, very easy to use. And I'm super stoked that we have this now. As you can see, a lot of these have 1 or 0 entries. That's just because I'm still migrating the old library settings over to our new self-hosted solution that Vince wrote. So that'll be caught up in a couple days, but you can submit settings on most of these now. I think UV and semiconductor, this will end up being like diodes and stuff.
Yeah. So I was going to say, there's something from Cuban actually just said, could you add an Xtool F1 Ultra page for that? I'll be adding lots of settings to that one, but
yeah,
that would be the fiber, right? The 20-watt fiber.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. So Kyle and I were having this discussion earlier. The 20-watt fiber is a real fiber in the F1 Ultra, but it's a semiconductor. It's like a diode laser inside like the regular F1. And so like the taxonomy for how that's going to be sorted and handled in the different like community libraries, I haven't quite settled on a solution for that. There will be new news about that soon, but it's going to be the very last part of this that I try to organize, because with all of these like proprietary diode laser systems, gantry and Galvo alike, it becomes very murky. The lines get very blurry between what is what and how to sort those and organize them. So I'm going to be thinking about how we're going to get that organized. Right now, this is kind of the holdover, but Kyle was pointing out flaws in this terminology for me earlier today. So we have to talk about that a little bit more. The UV Galvo settings will be, that submission form will be up by the end of the night. And then, of course, we have these 3, which are ready to go now. But that's not it. Vince did even more. Vince has done so much, guys. I can't thank Vince enough for all of the work he's put into our website. Yeah, so everybody, seriously, like, give Vinny a pat on the back in chat right now. If we come back to database, you'll also see our projects database. This has gone so underutilized because it's never been in a good spot on the website. It finally gets a little bit of the spotlight here. So if you click projects and you come into the projects database, here you can see all of the projects that people have uploaded, again, to share with the community. And that includes things like preview images. So you can come in and see what you're downloading. It gives you information about the uploader, and of course, a link to download the file. It's really straightforward. And there is a ton, like an absolute ton of really practical, useful tools and jigs and outlines. I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff in here that people have kind of uploaded, including like test jobs from like episodes of the show. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm looking forward to seeing even more of it from you guys. But this is a really awesome resource for you if you are looking for some great tools that you can actually use like digitally with your lasers. I mean, like this is an awesome place to come now. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing some projects get uploaded too. Kyle's been putting a few in here and there. And of course, we have more to port over as well. But that's one of the other great things that Vince has put together for us. One of the things I can claim I actually put a little sweat equity into is our new files database. Our new file database is super easy to manage. You guys will remember this on the old website as just like basically a couple download pages with different types of downloads in them. Now it's all kind of indexed into this files folder, which you can navigate with this little PHP script here. So if you're looking for a manual, we can click manuals, hardware, and then let's say we want a CO2 source, and it's an SPT laser tube, and it's the TR series with the red dot, and boom, there are all of your manuals for all of those different wattages in that folder. And you can navigate through this however you need to. There's some fiber sources in here too. These are a little more difficult to get our hands on because the fiber companies don't like sharing their manuals, but I'm slowly adding them. I added like 150 plus manuals today alone. So it's definitely growing, and we'll continue adding manuals to this as we go. But whether you're looking for manuals or spec sheets, there's even the old projects folder in here, which is going to end up all being dumped into the project database, but it's here for now. I just added a brand new reference folder from Novanta, which is the company that owns Cinrad. They have some really awesome articles in here. If you haven't read them, and you probably haven't, like alternative CO2 laser wavelengths. It talks about the different wavelengths of CO2 lasers. So not all 10,600 nanometers. There's also, you saw one you really liked, Kyle. Which one was that? The prevent condensation.
The condensation one, yeah.
Yeah, so if we click this, guys, you can actually like see in here, if you scroll down, it shows you the dew point for the relative humidity and the air temperature where you're going to start getting condensation on your laser source. I mean, there are all kinds of really, really great references in here that make it really easy to kind of wrap your head around some more difficult concepts. So I'd check these out. There's even an article. This is one of my favorite ones. I think we threw this up on the LMA earlier today. How to read CO2 laser data sheets. And it is literally a guide on reading the data sheets that we are supplying for the different laser sources. So if you don't know what a duty cycle range is, or you have no idea what divergence is, or beam diameter, or beam quality and why it matters, this is a great little article that puts it into plain English for you. So we're going to start hosting things like this in the database too, so you guys have easy access and can find this stuff really quickly.
All right. Two quick questions.
Yeah, what's up?
Scott A said, is there a way to filter out our specific laser and source when we're looking through the, I guess either one of those, but like when you're looking through I think the fiber files is what they were talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure he's talking about the settings library. There isn't yet, but there will be. We want to make sure that we get everything migrated over, and then we'll start adding functionality. So if I come into settings, I mean, at the very, very least, you should be able to like click to sort these, like A to Z at the very least. But I'm hoping to have a little bit more functionality than that.
Woo! The second question was, this is on the normal LE site? And the answer is yes.
Yep, this is
right
just so if I'll just click the logo here. So this is just lasereverything.net, guys. And if you come over here, again, I've tried to make this all really easy to find. A lot of this stuff is the same. It's what you're used to, like the material safety lookup. This has been in here forever, right? Where you can see some different dangerous things to engrave and why you shouldn't be engraving them. That stuff's always been there. But we now have these databases as well. These are shortcut links, or you can just click the database link up here, and that'll pull this menu up, and you can start working your way through all of these different resources. And again, guys, they're growing. The settings and projects are going to grow as you guys, the users, submit stuff that you want other people to be able to try out and use. And there's been a lot of really generous people that have already submitted settings to try to help out the community. If you have some settings you really like that you think you would be helpful, I would really encourage you to come dump them in here because we do have that functionality now, and growing that library is just going to help everybody. So that is available right now. The projects is all up. That's all live. Files is live. So you can come in and you can grab any of this stuff right now. Again, it's a lot of manuals, especially ones that are hard to find or hard to get. But there are some other things in here, like that reference tab we just talked about. And we do have the software folder too. So if you, for some reason, need EasyCAD 2 or EasyCAD 3, that's there. We also have Shark's, David Christian's laser parameter converter. So if you need that, that is in there as well. And we're still not done. So we now have this task management view. So like last week, I didn't really upload any videos, and I'm sorry, but we've been busy working on this. And so if you're curious what we're up to, if you want to see what we're actively working on right now, these tabs are actually a public view of our Kanban boards that we're using to manage our projects now. So if I click on video production, you can actually see all of the different episodes that are in editing right now. So if you are wondering if a certain episode is coming up soon, you can come in here and take a look. You can see what we have planned, what's uploaded, and what's been released. So obviously we just put this together, so there's nothing in released yet. But even if we're like mid filming something, you can come in and see exactly what is going on there. If a certain task has been assigned to somebody, you can see that as well. So here we've got the K. So Kyle is working on Kyle and Matt's live stream. And you'll be able to see things like due dates, descriptions, screenshots, extra links, and comments as we're commenting back and forth and making notes about things, which is really, really cool. So we have one of these for video production. And then since we've been working on site development a lot, we also have them for our 2 sites, lasereverything.net and makearmy.io, which we'll talk about in a second. So under lasereverything.net, you can see this is just a big pile of stuff that I have to do to get these settings libraries finished. And Vince and I are sharing the workload on that, so you can see what's been added, what's been finished. Here I've got a couple materials that need to be added to the material safety lookup. So as we go, and again, this has been up for like 2 days, as we go, these will fill up with tasks, and you'll be able to see what's been working on and what we're actually doing. Because sometimes it can seem like we're not doing much when we're not uploading constantly, but we really are super busy trying to prepare things for the community and give you guys new tools to help you succeed. And I think this is a really great way to be able to see that. So you guys can check that out in task management at any time. Again, that's just under the database link here, task management, and then you can click whichever ones you want to take a look at. Still not done. We have a new news section up here. It's just a simple little blog I put together. So we did Millijule News for a long time as like a little video series, but I don't think video was the right format for it. I really like the blog format for Millijule. I think it makes a lot more sense. So we have this in here now. So if there's new hardware released that we care about, new content, like this is Michael's new video he did on mobile laser engraving, and the new XCS software release and where to get it, you can come check this out. I include links to download like the software in this one. So if we scroll down to the bottom, you can download it from Xtool's website here, and it just takes you right to the download page. So I'm trying to make these useful for you. So that's there too. And then the last thing, guys, is the Make Army website. So if we run over to makearmy.io, Make Army started out as just a way to support us if you didn't have a credit card. But it's really, I think the branding is kind of taking over for Maker Remix. So here you guys will be familiar with this page if you're already part of the Maker Remix network. It's the same page, it's just rebranded for Make Army. We also have our buying guide that I'm actively working on. I'm trying to move through this fast, guys. I'm sorry. So if we come over to like laser machines, I'm really trying to rework this to make it easier to look at. So the old one, there's a lot of scrolling here, and this just takes up like a lot of space, and there's a lot of like colors going on. It can be kind of hard to read. So one of the things that I'm doing here is I'm trying to simplify this. So this is what the new pages will look like. And of course, we'll have affiliate links, which help out us and the channel to be able to pick any of these things up if you're looking to grab them. So we'll be growing this and reorganizing it as well, though it's kind of a lower priority than the other things we've been working on because it's the least valuable out of those things. But I think just getting rid of like a lot of these colors and cleaning up these links and making it easier to read will be helpful long term. And last but not least, guys, the Make Army network, replacing the Maker Remix network. Another huge shout out to Vince. Vince completely revamped the aesthetics of this basically today. And he's fixing a lot of the functionality. So if you guys have ever been here or spent any time here, you know that it's just ridden with bugs and errors and stuff. And he's been slowly trying to mop that up and kind of get it into shape here. And he's been doing an amazing job, as he does with everything else. So if you want to come see and appreciate the hard work that he's been putting into this, I would really recommend you come check it out because it is really coming together, and it's only going to get better. Vince has been instrumental in everything that I've shared with you guys today. He's a programming and coding whiz and master, and he's been able to take a lot of the stuff that we've had on the back burner for a long time because we just didn't have somebody with the technical capability in-house to do it. And he's volunteering his time for free to help bring these resources back up to the front of the priority list for you guys. And I, for one, am just incredibly grateful that he's taken the time to help us out like this. You're only going to see more improvements in the future. So a lot of new tools and resources for you guys on this page here. Make sure you come check it out. It's a brand new lasereverything.net website. Links to everything we talked about are right here on the site today live. So check it out and check back for updates regularly. I think that's all I've got to say about that for now. So
that's a very Forrest Gump ending of that discussion.
that was like 20,000 words. I tried to jam through it as fast.
I just messaged Kyle like, you want to pretend to be asleep when he comes back?
That would have been funny.
Yeah, but
Should've
Kyle
done
was
that.
like, no, we should be professional.
That would have been a good one.
Jason died though, so like his dog just came in and like.
That's okay.
But I will say it's been a lot. Vinny has done a ton. You did like 3 things, I think. So that's solid. It's a good week. He's gonna kick that. Oh my god, you gotta scratch that itch, dude.
Yeah,
You need some talent or something. Oh,
back a little bit.
pretty good.
Nothing
man.
like a nice long talon to scratch an itch.
Right?
Oh my god.
All 4 claws.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, all right. Let's talk about this trailer.
All
Making
right.
me itch.
So what triggered the trailer to be a thing?
So it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Just didn't have the time really to mess with it. And well, it's kind of twofold, really. I did it kind of for myself as something to do on the side around local area, kind of advertising, marketing, getting out to fairs and craft events and things like that. But also I wanted to kind of show people, what can be done with it and kind of how to do it per se. I didn't video it quite like I wanted to. I had this grand plan to like just video everything and then edit clips and things like that. But, as time allowed it, I just jumped on it and did stuff and kind of filmed it afterwards for the most part. But yeah, I mean, it was more to educate people, show people what could be done with something like that. Now, granted, if anybody's seen my videos and the trailer itself, I went extremely overboard. So it could be done at a lot smaller scale. It's just there's things that I needed, like there's a bed in it, there's a work table, there's running water, all kinds of different creature comforts for doing stuff that's like multiple day events. So I didn't have to get a hotel or anything like that. I could just go set up. I could work.
Dude, honestly, at LBX, I thought you were in the trailer staying there at first. I was like, God dang, that thing.
I legitimately thought that too. I was like,
Right, because it was right out front. And I was like, he just like Clark Griswold's cousin, where he bust open the door in the morning and sipping from the moose thing.
Yeah.
Well, if worse came to worse, I guess I could have.
Right. By the way, Mike C said no live stream from inside the trailer. Is that next week's show?
Yeah.
I think the only thing that trailer doesn't have is like Starlink, right? You got to get Starlink in there.
Well, I've got VHF antenna, and I've also got cell phone booster.
God dang.
So I mean, I've got quite a bit. And I got a 6,200 kilowatt hour battery, solar battery bank.
Damn.
So I could run off the grid for a while.
Beast mode.
Yeah.
A diesel gas heater.
Robin Roberts said it's hard to believe that it's even more awesome now than it was in November at LBX.
So for people that don't know and aren't up on this conversation, what is the trailer? Why was it built? What is its purpose? What are you using it for?
Well, I mean, I kind of covered it a little bit, but I mean, the main purpose was I wanted it.
Yeah.
And second, I thought it was a good opportunity to kind of show people what they can do by stepping outside the box a little bit. And because a lot of people go to events and fairs and festivals and whatnot. So I figured, again, I went extremely overboard. It's a 16-foot trailer by 8.5 foot wide by 7 foot tall. I mean, it's
not small.
But, if I had to do it for a smaller or just local use, like just a day event or something, I would probably go to a 10 or 12 foot because I could fit everything that's in there that I need in something like that. But again, I planned on traveling with it. So I wanted to have creature comforts, plus with all those creature comforts, I gave up space. So I had to have a little extra space in the back.
That's a
Yeah,
big
he's sneaking.
trailer.
Yeah, that is big, dude.
That's what it looked like when I got it.
Yeah, I got the before and after. If you want me to show the after real quick, or at least
Yeah.
I guess the during, right?
Yeah, that was probably about 70% done.
All right. So real quick, just for people who don't know, that's the Bolt, right?
Yeah, that's the Thunderbolt.
And then that's the
And
Aurora.
I can share some of my photos and stuff if you want.
Yeah, go for it, man. I just figured I'd show some stuff that I think you sent it to Alex last week, and he was like, "Check out these cool ass pictures." I was like, "God, that's an air conditioning, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. For people in Florida who are not from Florida, you would die. Like this would literally just be an oven if you didn't have this thing in there.
That's not that's not hyperbole. You would
Nope.
die. You would actually die.
Yeah.
That's a 5,000 BTU.
Five.
conditioner.
Oh well, you know what though? When you're
Or not
going out
5,000,
there,
15,000.
all right. There's the
So
running
basically-
water.
Basically what would be in a large camper or RV.
I like the little smokestack. You got the breaker box. You got a little TV action there.
Yeah.
Pretty dope, dude. And then
Where's the fireplace?
Uh,
right here,
the,
Oh, yeah,
it closes.
that's
the
right.
heater's not in there. I don't have a picture of the heater because that was something I added most recently, but I haven't updated it.
Yeah. This,
Diesel heater.
So that's the outside. We did all the wrap on it.
I was gonna
in-house.
ask because you do the wraps with JER Designs, right?
Yeah. So
That's dope.
we did all the graphics on the trailer, and so it's got a awning built into it. It's a 14-foot awning, 14 by 8 foot awning.
I didn't even know that.
Dude, that's insane. That's so sick. Oh my god.
And it's got a 50 amp shore power connection right on the right side there, right above the jack.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. Electric jack. Now it's got two twin 20-pound propane tanks on the tongue.
Oh, right here.
Yep. Because we take for the overnight events, take Blackstone grill and stuff, so we use it for that and
Nice.
whatever else. And it's got the two spotlights on the side there.
Yep.
That really help at night, like doing night events or even like I said, just camping in it.
This reminds me of like when you go, like, I don't know if any of you guys ever watched The Walking Dead, but there's like that one Walking Dead where there's like literally it's like a semi that they took and turned into like a wagon of death. And it's just got everything on it. Like, this is it.
Well, it's got the water port right there on the left by the door
Yeah.
for filling the water tanks right there.
Yeah.
It's got a 5-gallon fresh water and a 7-gallon waste tank.
See, and when I was in Boy Scouts, when I was a teenager, we built a trailer from scratch. Like, we literally just bought the frame, and did all that. Just doing that was such a pain in the ass. Like, god dang.
And then
How many hours do you think you put into this?
Not, I don't know. Probably with the build out and everything inside, like because the trailer came as you see it pretty much in that first picture. So the interior was done, all electrical was there, awning was on it, the roof vent and everything was already plumbed into it. I just had to add the fan and the ducting for the lasers.
Mhm.
So
Like,
I
I'm
got,
gonna
as
put
you see
your pictures up real quick.
there, I put 2 coats of the epoxy stuff that you get from Lowe's on the floor.
Oh yeah, right here.
So all that flake coating floor stuff. So I mean that sucked because I didn't have any way to hook up to it because I didn't have an adapter for my house to get AC going. So trying to do that epoxy in the rainy season down here with all that humidity and this stuff cures
Ugh.
based on heat and humidity.
Mm-hmm.
That's, man, That was interesting.
Dude,
Trying to
I've
get
thought
it-
about doing it on my garage floor in here, and that's exactly what stopped me. Is just like how, you know.
It was tough. I had to do it quick.
I was gonna say, how is you call Jason over?
Yeah. Hey, buddy, I got beer and pizza. You got 20 minutes?
Yeah, so this one has 110 outlets all throughout, all 20 amp. It's got 12 volt and 110 volt lighting at top and the outside. So if you're on battery power, like right in front of the AC, there's the 12 volt light strip, and then the one right by the front of the trailer. But
Here, I'm gonna turn it over to your pictures real quick, Jason, because I see you got stuff pulled up there.
okay, we'll kind of flip through. So all the framing I built myself. In hindsight, I could have had this exact thing built for about $1,800, and it would have been built to match the interior of the trailer. But I didn't realize that until afterwards, because I thought it was going to be like $4,000 or $5,000 to build it, and they're like, "No, it's only $1,800." I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Oops.
But anyways, so it's all 2x4. It's got acrylic panels, black acrylic panels on the front of it. That there's a refrigerator freezer. And then there's a sink, and then I got the plumbing here that goes down. It branches off one side for the CO2 and one side for the fiber. And then down here is like all the freshwater tanks and wastewater tanks.
Miranda went ahead and threw a link to your YouTube channel in chat, guys. Jason has some really great videos on his YouTube channel of the process of like building this and, you know, decking it out. So if you're not already subscribed to the Rotoboss YouTube channel, make sure you click this link, and of course we'll have it down in the description for you as well, so you can check that out too.
Yeah, I just put a link to the playlist where it's kept.
Nice.
Yep, there
So
you
this
go.
was the trailer being built. So it's just a regular trailer. They insulated it, sealed it, all that stuff. And then here's my foobar for the trailer.
Around the corners, yeah.
I didn't round the corners because all this was laser cut. I didn't round my corners when I did this. And
Just fill it with some silicone. Done. Have a nice day.
I put a fillet panel of acrylic in there, and then this is like of them building it.
Dude, the awning is sick.
Yeah, the awning's pretty badass. It's electrically. It's got its own battery inside, so it don't need power to operate. You just got to charge the battery every once in a while.
See, what's badass is pulling up like every freaking like lasers to go opportunity I've seen. There's literally all these different things and requirements, and you have to do this, that, and the other. And you don't have to worry about all that crap with this trailer. You just roll in and you're ready to rock.
Yeah, because like right now, I mean, I got a fire extinguisher now that hangs up here by the door. I got my cell phone booster that mounts here and the antenna outside. I mean, it's completely self-contained. Like I said, if I was just doing day events, I would have went with a much smaller trailer for sure. That's again the build. That's after I did the floor.
I see this get suggested a lot when your trailer comes up in conversation, and I'm curious what you think about it. A lot of people say that you could probably like refurbish a food truck to do this job. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from using whatever you have. Like I've seen people since I've done this, just have a shell of a trailer with some equipment in it, and that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be right the way I wanted it from the get-go. I didn't want to have to mess with it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So really the only thing I did was to build out, put the stuff inside. All the tables is plywood with varnish on top. Electronics and hot water heater in there. All the water tanks, all the electronics inside there. So I'm just flipping through, and that was kind of my like prep stage, like outline to see if everything would fit the way I wanted it. So I put tape down and marked out everything before beforehand, and all this was done freehand. Like I had no grand plan.
Yeah.
It just kind of evolved as I went. And
question real quick. Willie Sims asked, Jason, did you use any insulation in the walls or no?
yeah, there's supposed to be 1.5 inch polystyrene insulation in the walls and the ceilings. But I haven't opened it up anywhere to see, but it's supposed to be. And for the most part, I think it is. But the walls are so thin, it's really hard to tell because.
I was going to say, it looks like it's pretty streamlined.
Yeah, I think I went through all the pictures that I have on here. It looks like. Yeah. So, anyways,
yeah.
But here's
he's got a trailer too, and he's taking his to a show at the end of the month.
Like this here, I'll kind of skip through some parts and show what I can. But, and I think, like, for the trailer, the way I got it was about $16,000 to $17,000. And then I think I probably put another 5 into it, maybe. With everything else, not including the equipment, obviously, the laser and the battery banks and all that stuff. I'm just talking about the flooring, the tables, I had those toolbox in there. So you can see I put a little Husky or whatever toolbox down here. It fit perfectly. That was unintentional. But found one that fit in there perfectly. So I got all my tools and different stuff that I need in there, drills, whatever might be needed while on the road or at an event. And then let's see here.
With the gantry lasers in there, just kind of like hanging out in the back of the trailer, I saw that you had it like strapped down for when you're moving, but are you doing anything on the interior to keep like your mirrors from getting all jacked up or like your rails and stuff? Are you like strapping all that down before you actually hit the road?
No, well, both the lasers, the CO2 and the fiber, they're both bolted. Like, I don't know if I can find that part. They're both bolted to their respective table.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see here, there's a bolt right here that I'm pointing to. So they're bolted to I say bolted, but there's about 2.5 to 3 inches of bolt sticking down through the countertop to keep it from moving, and then the straps are to keep it from bouncing. So all the shock load is taken by the axles of the trailer, so you don't have a whole lot of or I don't have a whole lot of concern with them moving. And then, of course, electrical, the heater, and tanks. But the strap is there to keep them from like physically bouncing if you hit a bump.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the lasers, I specifically chose. I was going to put an Odin 32 in there, which is another RF laser by Thunder. But they reached out to me when I created the Rotobolt for it, that they were coming out with this, and so I decided to get this, and mine I got a pre-production, but it was kind of like a testing bed one, because they knew I was doing a trailer. I was looking for an RF laser, and then this thing with the size of it was just perfect for what I was doing. And then I had the Aurora, which is their fiber, just sitting in the shop, and at the time I didn't have a place for it, so it was just sitting there. So that's why I use that. But as far as keeping things in place, I don't do anything. I don't strap anything down. I don't. As far as internally, I don't do anything, and nothing moves.
Good.
The mirrors and stuff. There's one of these. Let's see, the one here. The Did It Take It? I did a full review of kind of what happened to that point, which was I had about 3,500 100 miles on it when I got back from LBX, and then I basically just unstrapped it, threw some wood, or looked it over, threw some wood in it, and did an engraving just to show that it was just as good as it was when it left.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that, you know, I didn't put a wrench on anything. I didn't do anything. I literally took the strap off of it, threw a file in there, threw a piece of wood in there, and engraved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and a couple things too, just from comments that we had while you were showing us those pictures. Willie said, "Oh, that's the wrong one. I've run my gantry back and forth between Louisiana. Never had an issue with my mirrors or gantry floating around either. So yeah, so if you strap it down, I mean, it sounds like you had everything ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had that planned out, the bolts in place, literally with bolts. And then, good.
I wouldn't have done it with a glass tube. I mean, you can, I'm sure, but with the water and, you know, the glass tube, I mean, you don't want that bouncing around. Could you do it? Sure. Have people done it? Probably. But, you know, for me, for what I intended to do with it, I had no intention of using a glass tube in there. If it was just local events and stuff, that might be different.
I would suspect the extra power draw from the chiller probably would also suck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is
Basically driving
true.
a refrigerator at that point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm running 50 amps. I've got a 7,200 watt inverter generator, so that wouldn't really be an issue because I can run everything in the machine, everything in the trailer, hot water heater, battery chargers, lasers, fans, AC, all that stuff, and I'm only
Cell tower. Cell tower.
Yeah, and I'm only pulling like 50 to 60% load on that generator. So I mean,
That's wild, man.
a chiller wouldn't bother it, but you know, I didn't want to worry about the water. I knew I was going to be traveling with it, and you know, like I said, if it was local, probably a different story. I probably would have risked it, but you know, going places I didn't know, like we went to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary up in Tennessee a while back, and getting up there, Jesus, the roads were freaking horrible.
What were you doing up there? Engraving shanks? Or
Yeah. they have events up there, and we were taking
It's like
part.
a focal stick, like bury it to this depth to kill the guy, right? Like just.
But even going to Illinois, I mean, if you guys drove around up there, I mean, the roads up there are horrible.
yeah.
I mean, the trailer was literally like bouncing, like as it going down the freeway, you know, hitting dips and crap like that. So,
All right, well, that brings a good question. So, Rich over from the LA Hobby Guy said, one of my friends bought a Featherlight camper for $5,000, gutted everything except the bedroom and bathroom of it, and then turned it into a mobile shop for craft shows.
Nice.
So, my thought is, like, that's a good way to do it too. But looking at that, like what you've done, do you think it's better to get a trailer that's kind of made for towing and hauling, because that's got to be easier to move around versus like a Featherlight camper? I mean, I don't know, like the width or I don't know. What do you think?
well, I mean,
Since you've done it?
well, what I have is, I mean, it's 8.5 foot wide, so it's a full size, the biggest trailer you can get.
Right.
And it's 16 foot box, a 20 foot from tongue to tail. And it's 7 total. It sits about 8 foot tall from the ground. It's 7 foot interior height. But you know, in having that, it's borderline tough to get in and out of places. A lot of places I go, you know, I have to buy 2 spots, or I have to get there super early before everybody else gets there, so I can maneuver and get into position. So there are some drawbacks to the bigger one. That's why I said if I was to do just local events, I would have went with probably a 10 or 12 foot trailer and had just what I need in there to run the business, and that's it. I wouldn't have anything else. But
if I ever went nuts with something like this, and that's entirely not out of the question because I'm known to do that from time to time, I'm telling you, dude, I would get like an ice cream truck with like, and I'd just slap a UV, a fiber, and a CO2 galvo in there, and that would be it. That'd be my little zip around town.
yeah, I mean,
that kind of thing.
If you could have an all-in-one like that, it'd be great. I like the trailer part better because, like I said, if I'm doing extended events, I can just hop in the truck and go do what I want to do, come back, and not have to worry about it. Whereas if you had like ice cream truck or something like that, you'd have to pack it up, do what you want to do, come back or whatever.
You're not worried about somebody like lifting the trailer, are you?
No, there's 3 locks on it. I mean,
Jason's like, I got an air tag in that bitch.
If they can get it, they can have it.
I told you he's got a cell tower that he can literally just. They're like, "Sir, do you have any way of tracing it?" Yeah, cell tower 29738.
He's calling from inside the trailer.
Oh my god!
But it's got 2 tongue locks. All the doors have the bulletproof locks on them.
Nice.
The bar locks and stuff with the cylinder locks that go over top of it. And that's another reason people ask me why I didn't put a concession window in it. And for me, one, that's where my bed's at, and I wasn't giving up my bed space.
You won't have to make a little tickle at nighttime.
And two, I wanted as few entry points as possible because I've got probably 20 grand worth of equipment and tools inside that trailer. So,
well, here's the thing. So, like, this is just me not knowing anything about trailers because I'm a beta male. But like, what stops people from backing up to a trailer and just like attaching it to their truck and driving away?
There's a lock on the tongue.
Well, I've got a tongue lock that locks the actual latch that latches the tongue onto the ball.
Like this.
And then I've also got one of those armored locks on the tongue that surrounds the tongue. So you'd have to cut it off, torch it off, something.
Pull it off, yeah.
To get it off there.
You'd be making a scene. You'd be making a big scene doing that.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I have a 1/2-inch steel cable that I run through the 2 of the wheels and lock it. So I mean, you'd be noticed if you tried to do anything.
Yeah, I just see people leave their trailers out all the time, and I'm like, what are you doing? But I guess that makes sense. I just have never had one, so I don't know.
I mean, it's not like you said if somebody really wants it, they could get it, but you're gonna get heard trying to get that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are gonna know you don't belong there if you try to get it. And like I said, if they can get it, they can have it because they work for it. But I see the Louisiana hobby guy.
Yeah, I was just about to pop that up here.
Hey, what up, Rich?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So for people who couldn't read it, the difference between the camper and the utility trailer is the camper has the 3 slide outs, so more square foot, and then it's already plumbed and wired is what he was letting people know or mentioning to the conversation.
Yeah, but the thing with that is the size. Like realistically, where the hell are you going to go with a 20-foot or whatever size camper that you got? And and the square footage is not that big a deal. Like I have plenty of room inside that trailer, and like I said, even room for all my inventory and the bed when it folds out. I've got plenty of, like me and a buddy of mine stayed in it when we went to the last event we just did, and plenty of room. As far as plumbing and wiring, like I got a 5-gallon water tank. It's plenty for washing your hands or washing your face or cleaning cups off or whatever. It drains just like a camper would drain. Electrical is already done when I got it, except for the 12 volt. I ran the 12 volt, but that was easy and I could do what I wanted with it. I mean, if I had the room for it, yeah, a camper would be nice, but slide outs and all that stuff is not. I don't know.
As usual, when you're on, man, time is just like flying. It's whipping by us right now. But I want to know, like, before we like get super low on time, when you roll up to a place, what are you doing? Like, what is your workflow like? Where and how are you interacting with customers? Like, how are you using it?
Well, I mean, getting in and setting up is pretty simple. Hardest part's unpacking everything to set it on the tables and whatnot. But I have an employee that comes with me to the local events for that stuff. And the thing with the trailers too is important to know is like you have to be on your A game. There's no two ways about it.
Right.
And you got to have someone to help you because it's you lose customers because you don't have anybody out there communicating. If you're inside working, and then keeping an eye on your inventory in some situations. I mean, every place I've been, I haven't had to worry about that too much. But the setup I think takes about 30 minutes. Tear down about the same. So that's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But like I said, the most important thing is like you have to be on your game when you're doing stuff like this because like we go to events and we have a flip book, like kind of like a tattoo artist would have,
Right.
and we have images and graphics that we already have pre-made and ready to go, and we kind of put those in for the events that we're going to.
Mhm.
So it makes it easier. We do take custom orders. Like if I have my employee with me, she's our graphic artist. So like if someone comes up and say, "Hey, can you do my logo?" They're like, "Yeah, sure. Send us the file." She'll handle that, and then we'll do the job.
Right.
But just doing it, I mean, it's very taxing. It's very tiring. It's fun for me because I strive under pressure, so it helps. It helps the situation for me that way because I like working under pressure. But what's up?
2 questions. One is Maxie said, "How does the mobile engraving go as a business case? It looks awesome for promo. How do you find the payback in mobile engraving and shows versus so all that setup and initial costs you had?
Yep.
What do you think?"
For me, this wasn't about a get rich quick scheme. It was just something I wanted to do, a passion project. I wanted to show others, teach others, give ideas, things like that. As far as a business case, I mean, it does really well. Like everybody's got pre-made stuff. And if you go to a show and it's like, I kind of like that, but I wish it was like this or whatever, that's where it comes in because they can completely customize it on the spot. So it's just a different business model. If you use it as a business model to make money, it's not going to happen. Like I'm scared to think of how much I got tied up in that trailer. Probably close to 40 grand, I would guess, with everything. Am I going to make that money back? No. Do I care? No. It wasn't about that for me. It was 1, passion project, 2, learning experience, and 3, to pass on information and ideas to other people to potentially do it on their own. Could you make money on it? Absolutely. It's kind of like you think of it like a food truck. Like if the food truck's sitting at the house and ain't going nowhere, you ain't making money. If there's a bunch of markets and stuff around you and places you can go, absolutely. Like hit them up. Go hit up ballparks or something like that and sit outside and customize cups or whatever. I've seen some people talk about doing that where they go and set up at an event, like a wedding event or something, and they do custom stuff for the venue and whatnot. So absolutely you can make the money on it. If I was doing it for a business proposition, would I put that much money into it? No. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I would have went with a much smaller trailer. I would have probably done a lot of the insulation, things like that on my own. I wouldn't have had the nice aluminum paneling inside and the seam or the screwless panels out. I wouldn't have done all that crap. But yes, you can do it. So it just depends on how eager you are to get out and do stuff like that, and if you have the means to do it.
Yeah, and that, like Willie just said, that he's gone to 10 events and made about 3 to 5K at each one. But like you said, you got to hustle. The other thing I was going to say, so that led to my second question, which is, to me, it's like, do you feel like because I mean, like making the $25 or $50 or $100 sale for someone who comes and buys a few hats, that's cool. But like, do you feel like you've made any inroads with like someone who happens to own their own business or company, and they're like, hey, because you've got all the things you do listed on your front panel there. Like, have you run into people who are like, hey, do you do this? And you've been able to actually get like a good lead out of it?
Yeah, I've got a couple good leads. I mean, nothing substantial, but I've had a couple good leads from the shows. And again, that was another thing too. Like the trailers, it's marketing, it's advertising.
Yeah, straight up.
Anytime I tow it around or whatever, people see it. When I go to shows, people see it. So it's kind of a mobile billboard of sorts when it's on the road and when it's at events.
Yeah, because I don't think people understand. Like when I went to Jason's shop, it was like this. So I did this side, which is the lasers and the rotary assembly and the rotaries. And then there was this side. And over here was like his business and engineering office. And then next to it / behind it is like all the DTF, DTG, UV printing. Like, I mean, it's like everything. And it's all in one small space. And I'm like, how the hell do you do that? And he's like, right.
I think a big takeaway is like, I think a lot of this makes more sense if you are anchored somewhere else and you can bring business back to that when you're not driving the trailer around, right?
Yeah, I've done that. I've taken orders at the show, like bulk orders at the show, and then do them at the shop, and either they're local enough they can come pick them up, or I've mailed them before too. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of gear it. If you're just doing a one-day event and someone wants some extremely custom stuff or a bunch of stuff, then obviously it's an order that you'd have to take and fulfill elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, those food truck, you drew the comparison to the food truck guys. They're out there every day, every single day.
Like, that is their business.
Make a profit doing that. Those guys work hard, and they do it because they love doing it. And if you're not out there every single day looking for that business, I feel like you would struggle. And that's why I think it makes a lot more sense if you're physically anchored somewhere, even if it's your garage. You know what I mean? Like even Matt's garage shop, like Matt would have a better chance, I think, succeeding with something like a trailer or a travel kind of assembly than someone who didn't have a garage shop, because he has far more capability he can offer people outside of that. And when he's not driving around looking for business, he still has a spot where people are coming and delivering business to him. So I think that makes more sense that way.
That's another good thing about the trailer too. Like if you don't have a garage or whatever, like you can set it up in your trailer and work out of your trailer. And then when you go to events, just go to events, and so it could fit multiple purposes and multiple needs at once. Like you can use it as a full-fledged shop. That could be your shop.
Yeah.
And there's actually, I know somebody who does that actually, like a town over, a place called Brandon, Florida. They're not allowed to have a business in their home. So they were like, cool. And they got a trailer. There's nothing about a trailer being in their front yard. And so what they did is they've got the business in the trailer. So like technically it's not in the home. So, and that's what they do. They just go in there, they've soundproofed the best they could, and they run all their stuff from in there. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do with it. Like I said, it just depends. I think of all the shows I've been to, I think I've netted $1,000. So, I mean, after paying my employee and cost to get where I'm going and the setup and all that stuff, I've probably pulled in $5 or $6 grand. I probably made $1,000. So I mean, it depends on how bad you want it. And like I said, you don't have to spend a whole lot to do this. It's just work within your means and get it to do what you need it to do, and that's pretty much it. I mean,
and I feel like Willie, I'm glad you're here tonight, man. I know you had that surgery last week, so hopefully you're healing up quickly, dude. It said I would do singles for customers, but then when they wanted the bulk, I'd do a proof. And that's what I was going to say. You could have your graphic artist be back there and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to let you work with, what's her name?
Yeah.
And say, here you go. And then you can keep wheeling and dealing at the front,
Well, that's what I do. Like I'm inside, she's outside taking orders, talking to people, doing artwork, all that while I'm inside engraving. But you know, in this business, the onesie twosies don't make you money. But again, you gotta like what you're doing, because it is very taxing. It's very consuming. It's not easy. As I don't know if what's his name or her.
Sorry, Mike said I need to convert a short bus.
Like Willie Sims.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's in the trailer.
Yeah. He's actually got a similar one to you. I got the pictures of it over here.
I think I might know what that is. He got the plywood interior and everything. He's got a couple lasers up front or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like a small box like that, that's probably 10 or 12 foot long.
And that's where he was saying you've got that extra foot of space, and it can make a world of difference, because that could just be where all your storage goes. For
like when I'm on the road, my stuff's stacked about 3 feet high throughout the whole floor. And then when I get where I'm going, everything gets stacked up as high as it can go in the back. That way I have the whole floor space to work in. And then we usually put out one of everything that we have outside. So we have basically every color and size and shape or whatever we have with us. That's a 7x20.
Yeah.
Holy, that don't look 20 foot.
So I was trying to pull up the good picture there. So,
Is that 20 foot at the tongue, or is that 20 foot for the box? Minus the V-nose. The V-nose don't count for the length. Because if I counted that, it'd be like 18 foot. But it looked a little bit smaller in that one picture.
Yeah,
okay.
20 total.
So yeah, that's the same as mine. Mine's 20. Well, mine's 20 tongue to tail. It's 18 from the tip of the V to the tail, and then 16 from the box to the tail. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go any bigger than that. And like I said, if it was just local events and stuff, I'd do much smaller. But
well, and another thing too, I was going to say, so this goes back to the lasers to go. Basically, that I was supposed to do this year, but then everything happened with like working here got crazy. God, that dang itch won't get scratched, will it? You need something better than a Talon is what you need, like something newer or better or something. But I don't know.
I need like a pro version or something.
Yeah, right. Maybe next year, dude.
Something.
Like that would take months to get even at an R&D. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly don't think we'll ever see anything like that.
No.
Like what?
A pro model.
Oh.
A pro.
Yeah,
what would you even call that? Like a pro Talon or something? You know, like what? How would that even work? You know what I mean?
If I was coming out with something, I'd probably call it that.
If you were coming out with something, you would have announced it here on the podcast that you love to come on.
Yeah, you would have put it in front of everybody's face like you love to do.
You would have used something like that to scratch your back.
I mean, it scratches pretty well.
You would probably.
Yeah, if I was, I would bring it on the show. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Willie said that looks like an expensive back scratcher.
Yeah. Pretty expensive.
It's not a single use item. It's multi-use, multifaceted.
Yep. Use it for a lot of different stuff.
Hey, Resin's here. Late's better than never. Definitely re-listen to this episode. There's some cool stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, Resin Dragon would love to get her talons on that. Probably.
Also, go subscribe to her YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're over, but I don't really care. Jason, take a minute here and just plug your stuff, man. Where do people follow you? Where do they see your stuff? What do you got going on before we let you go tonight?
Like I said, I dropped the link in the chat there. On YouTube is Rotoboss Rotary Attachments under the playlist. You can find a bunch of different stuff that we have segmented out, but we have a trailer build playlist there, as well as all the different stuff that we have available, videos on how to use it, things like that. RotaryAttachments.com. You can see all of our stuff.
Hell yeah!
We got the most recent thing that's due to come out is the Ascend Pro, which we touched on, I think, last episode. And then we might have something else and work.
Some other professional style items.
Yeah, that may, if we're actually going to do it, may come out in the fall.
That's the kind of idea you'd have to chuck, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to chuck that one up to good behavior, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, we can be found all over Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. If you guys have any questions about anything, always reach out to me. Really easy to get a hold of. Always willing to talk and help with anything that I can. I appreciate you guys having me on for this. I know we've been talking about doing something like this for a while, and last week didn't work out, but I'm glad we could get something with this week, and hopefully it helps some people, give some people some ideas. I'm glad to see so many people doing it now. I don't know how many people did it before me. I didn't really pay attention. What's that, 3?
3.
Yeah, I don't know how many people did the trailer thing before me, but I'm glad to see so many people getting in and doing that kind of stuff.
I think it's like when you get a new car and then you see your car all over the place, and you're like, oh shit, this is a fucking car. Because I didn't start seeing them until you started doing it. And I'm not sure if I can chalk it up to like, oh, one of my friends built a trailer and now I'm seeing trailers all over the place, or if they're just starting to pop up now. But I'm glad you could come back on to talk about it. I've been pretty disappointed the last few times we've talked to you. We haven't really had time to get to it, so I'm glad we could just do a whole episode on it.
Sorry I disappointed you.
No, it's okay. You made up for it, buddy. It's all right.
Well, see, and the one thing is, the YouTube channel. If you guys haven't gone to the Rotoboss YouTube channel, there's a lot of good stuff there. And I always get confused because you'll send me videos of stuff that you're doing, like on Facebook. You message me and I'm like, oh, that's cool as shit. So I can't remember where I see what, but like you can actually see that go from like wood paneling, like all the way up to a finished product for the most part. Like there's some of it on there, and I know you said you're editing some of it still, aren't you?
We have some other footage that we may or may not post. I might do an update with some of the things that I've done to it with the bed and the heater and things like that. But for the most part, the series is done. Like I said, I'll probably do an update. And it looks like Willie said he's been doing it for about 2 years, so apparently he's been doing it longer than I have. But to the extent that I did it, I've never seen anybody do it quite to that extent. But like I said, I don't care to be first. I did it because I wanted to, and hopefully it helps some people. Always here to answer questions.
Resin was hooing to Kathia. Watch out, Resin's got the catheters. She's waiting in the shadows. Also, if you guys haven't been there, go check out Johnson Plastics Plus, jpplus.com. It's the sponsor of tonight's episode. Sorry for making your plug so close to a catheter joke, guys. If you didn't know, they sell pillows. You can put heat transfers on them. It's pretty cool. They've got all kinds of stuff, guys. Engraving equipment, print and cut equipment, sublimation printers. Matt knows a thing or two about that. It's coming, I promise, dude. I'm gonna edit it, and then everybody will get to see your printer. I know you're so proud of it. Matt shows me like a new T-shirt like every 3 days. It's very cool.
Well, the whole thing that I've been trying to show people is Christmas in July.
That you're wearing it right now, aren't you?
Well, this is not sublimation. This is DTF.
Oh, it's DTF. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I got an Epson F170, which is really it's the nice little teeny starter one, and there's the F570, which is like a big boy. But the F170, and that's my thing. I'm trying to show people how you can get into sublimation right before Christmas. For like all the ornaments, dude. All the time people ask me, can you put my picture of a baby for first Christmas? And it's just easy money. So anyways, I'll show you all later.
Look at all these DTF supplies they sell.
I would say DTF would be better for any of that stuff. Sublimation is good.
Well,
sublimation is very temperamental. DTF is much better. Like all our shirts.
It's been like just, I'm talking about like if you have like the sublimatable like plywood and sublimatable acrylic, like you just press and go.
Done. Are you using your DTF every day?
Am I?
No, I mean Matt, but either way.
Well, I mean, I got all these things that I got to put on stuff that I bought. So I got some of these guys. I got all kinds of stuff. I got some stuff. I actually made this shirt that I'm wearing now. So it's got that. And the cool thing is you can do the sleeve. You can do my little ELC creations for my shirts.
Toy.
Yeah, pretty good.
They got all kinds of stuff, guys. We talk about it every week, and you can get 15% off if you use the link down in the description, along with the coupon code, Matt.
YLR-ZDF, all caps, but it may change in the future, so always check the link below.
Yeah, and check them out, guys. They rock. They make the podcast possible. They supplement the bills around here, and we really appreciate them. Of course, we've been using them literally since episode 1 of this channel. It's a company we stand behind. We really, really like Johnson Plastics Plus, and I would encourage you to go check them out. Right after you're done checking out the new Laser Everything website, don't forget to check out the new database stuff. Vinny worked really, really, really hard on this, guys, to bring these tools to you. Thank you so much, Vince. Again, man, we really appreciate your volunteered time and energy to make these things possible for these guys. And there's a ton of new stuff, so just make sure you go check that out, lasereverything.net. That's the only plug I'm going to leave you with today. If you want to support us, there's a support button up here. You can check that out too. But I think that is all we have time for today. Jason, one last time, bro. Thank you seriously for your time, dude. We'll have you on really soon. If there's anything I do not doubt in life, it's that Jason will return to the podcast. I think you're our number one, most recurrent guest. I think you come back on more often than anybody else. So I'm sure we'll be seeing you real soon.
The hell out of you. No.
That's all right. Just keep her head. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah. Gotta quit coming up with things to come on the show for. I guess.
That's it, dude.
You're just coming out. It's cool.
Kyle, Matt, I love you guys. And chat, I love you too. Thank you guys for being here live. Each and every one of you hold a special place in my heart, and we will see you in the next one.
Later, everybody.